So the West Virginia Soil Tunnel Trailer is a mobile unit that we use to promote soil conservation and agriculture, specialty crops throughout West Virginia. What we're going to discuss today was the actual construction of the trailer. First, I'd like to start with what the inspiration was. A lot of folks ask me that, and the inspiration was found at an NACD conference in San Antonio in 2012, and that was when I met the folks who had designed the Kansas soil tunnel trailer. So I really liked it and thought, you know, we really need one of those in West Virginia. So I came straight home and began working on getting one built here. Little interesting fun fact is I did not even work for soil conservation at the time. I worked for the Attorney General's office as an investigator. So I don't know what I was doing, but I figured it out. So first things first, we had to come up with funding for this project. So I started writing grants. I had not written very many grants in the past, so I just kind of worked on it wherever I could. In the meantime, I had begun as a board member with the Capital Conservation District, which I think some of you call those commissioners. So I did get my board on board to actually purchase the unit, which is the trailer itself, that was around $8,200, and I was awarded a specialty crop block grant for $10,000. We did receive in 2015 a DEP litter control grant, and then also a $2,000 grant from West Virginia American Water. And Brian Farkas kept his end of the bargain, telling me that if I completed the project, he would help support it, and he surprised me with a $20,000 operation fund to keep the trailer moving. So it did take a little bit to get it going, but we just worked on it bit by bit and found a way. So when we purchased the trailer, it was delivered in July of 2014. So you can see it took a couple of years to get it going, but it was a new project, so we just kind of had to figure it out as we went along. The one that we currently have is 18 foot in length. It's 8 foot 6 inches wide, so it is a little bit wider than the average utility trailer, but you need that for ADA compliance. It's 7 foot tall, and it has screwless aluminum panels on the outside so that you can easily put a wrap on without blistering. This year, we're looking at going with a 24 foot and possibly a gooseneck. We're still working on determining that. So the first sketches of the trailer, you can see the second one from the left is the very first sketch that I did put out, and it was just my idea that I drew while I was still in Texas. And then the sketches got a little better and a little better as I went along, and I ended up doing 4 different sketches until I finalized the design that I wanted for the trailer, and those, of course, are just examples. And I wanted to add that I'm in the process of working on a full how-to booklet for the soil tunnel trailer. I'll have it finished by next Monday, and hopefully have it out and ready for folks to use. And, you know, we'll just keep adding to it as we go. So interior, the interior was specially designed. It was just framed and had plywood walls. The one thing that I'll do next time is I'll have those walls, but I'll also add extra framing so I can run the electric behind it. That's something that I didn't do this time, and it was a big mistake. So we'll make sure to do that next time. So the next photo is you can see that the foam was installed. And once the foam was installed, we began drawing on it. I like to use we, but we was me at this point. I began drawing on it and getting some carving done. We did contract an artist to help me do it, and he got the trailer and actually kept it for over a year, almost 2 years, and didn't do any work on it, so we had to go and take it. So that was a little bit of an issue we had. This foam, I purchased it from a roofing company. It was 5-inch, 5-pound expanded polystyrene. It came in 4x8 sheets. It's also used for boat docks, but it's used for architecture. And not so much insulation, but it can be used for insulation. This time, I'm going to be ordering the foam in thinner sheets, 3-inch, and I'm looking at, I've ordered samples of 1.5, 2, and 2.5 pound weight. I'm just going to kind of try some new methods this time to make things easier on myself. And we're also going to order some milled blocks so that when I'm trying to do, say, for instance, the groundhog, I'm not going to have to worry about doing glue ups with that foam, because if you've ever worked with foam, you know that it does not like any type of adhesive on it. It just melts. So the project was a lot bigger bite than what I expected. The carving went on for about 4 months, and this was after we got the trailer back from the original artist. Me, my little brother, and his friend Mike began carving, and in these photos you can see that we just had a whole group of folks come in to help us put things together, get them attached to the wall. You know, a lot of the things had to go in with dowel rods and be secured, and because it has to remain flexible because it is a mobile unit. We use Styrospray 1000 as the foam hardener. I do not suggest using it because it does keep an odor with it where the trailer is closed up. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes after you've opened the trailer for that odor to dissipate, and it's pretty strong. So we're going to go with something different this time, and I found a manufacturer called Demand Products. I got their catalog, so we're going to try some of their foam hardeners and see if we can find something that's less noxious with the fumes. So here we have the walls once they're carved and they're sprayed with their Styrospray. As you can tell, it's kind of plain and ordinary. We had to put just a basic Kilts primer on it and then the Styrospray hardener, and now it's ready for the base coating of the paint. And so the base coat is, if you do much art, you'll know that, you know, base coats are many different colors. So you just kind of get in there and you get your non-detail back painting done. It took about 6 layers of paint and then the detail paint to get it done. I did all the painting inside of it, so it was quite an accomplishment. And all of my waking hours were filled with sitting in my driveway painting these walls. Again, at the time, I did not work for the conservation agency, so I could put whatever amount of hours I wanted into it, and that was pretty much 20 hours a day. This was the easiest part for me because this was the detail work, and that's what I really enjoy. So next we had to do our microbes. I wanted to do the 3D printed soil microbes so that children who are visually impaired could get an idea of what a soil microbe feels like, and it adds that tactile learning environment. Also, we had the flowers for the top of the trailer. Those I put together on flower trays. They're pretty heavy to lift out of the trailer each time you set up to put on top of the trailer. So with our new trailer, I'm going to actually have roof clips fabricated when the trailer is built so that I can just snap aluminum trays with the flowers into it each day so that they don't blow over, because that's an issue we have too. Even though the wood is heavy, it does tend to blow over on a windy day. All right, so the outside, the wrap, our communications specialist at the time, Billy Wolf, was able to do the photos for us. So we decided to do the outside wrap with children so that when we're at schools, when we're at fairs, festivals, camps, things like that, kids can identify with themselves on the trailer. And we ended up photographing, I believe, 18 different children, and they all had a really great time. So here's the trailer completed. We unveiled it at the West Virginia State Fair in Lewisburg, West Virginia in August 2016. It was definitely a challenge, but I think it turned out really good. It was a lot of work, but it was well worth it. And the trailer has been on the road and booked almost 2 years in advance since that day. So the second visit we made was to the schools for the West Virginia Schools for the Deaf and the Blind in Romney, West Virginia. And that was a turning point with the unit, because then we realized that we had found a niche that most agriculture education programs had missed, and that was the ability to deliver curriculum to children who had visual or hearing impairments. So things I would do differently, I would refuse delivery of the trailer pending inspection. We had a couple issues there that I could go over if somebody wants to call or email me. I would definitely have legally binding contractor agreements and pick a partner with less odor and add handrails on the ramps, which I'll be doing with the new trailer. And finally, are there any questions?